Let's see. Test, test, test. Can you guys hear me? Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Gonna keep it very simple today. We talked about a couple stocks that I saw value in yesterday for our Sunday stock talk. I'm simply going to be following up with them and also going to be scanning for one of the top stocks for this upcoming week. So if you guys did not see the watch list that we posted for this upcoming week, then feel free to go to the announcement section in the TechBud Solutions Discord group chat and then click right there. And I put it in a nice little picture format so you don't have to download the PDF or anything like that. But we have a couple questions, and I was like, link posted in announcements. Boom. All right, let's do it. So real quick, one of the first ones that I posted for one of my top stocks for October week 2 is TEVA. The reason that I saw value in TEVA is due to the huge gap that it built for itself when it dropped below $18. From that point, it dropped and it built the support at around $15 overall. It didn't drop below 15 based on its previous support, and it looks like now it's building that little cup and trying to see an upward trend. I said something that I'm going to wait for is the break above $16, giving me a better understanding that if it does break above 16, it would show me or give me a better understanding that this EMA line and this trend is going to continue up to potentially $17 and potentially 19 altogether. So let's say right now it is broken above 16, so that's a good sign of an upward trend. It is still above EMA, but I want to make sure that when the market opens, it doesn't have any just pull back and then pull right below the EMA line and then start seeing a downward trend. I don't mind giving it a little bit more time and really start showing signs of upward momentum. It looks like its pre-market high was about 610 to 6, what is that, almost 615. So that's where I'm going to set my alert. It looks like one of my alerts are already going to go off because it already broke above what was that, $16 flat. But overall, just because it's now showing signs of upward trend, this is something that is truly validating the trend that I predicted, which means that since that huge gap that it had and it had a huge dip, now that it's identified its support and now starting to see an upward trend, it gives me a better understanding that okay, this stock is now really trying to make its way back up to the previous price point that it was at. So let me go ahead and move on to the following one. So the following one is JNUG. JNUG, the reason that I saw value in that is because I felt like it's been consolidating here at around $17 to $19 for the past week to almost 2 weeks. Now it's really starting to build that bottom and really start to almost peak out and build that break above $20. During pre-market today, it almost nearly broke $20. If you could see that the overall resistance, we could even go to 1-minute candlesticks, and we can see that its overall resistance was at $19.97. So overall resistance was still at $20. It did not break above. That is where my alert is set. Therefore, I want to make sure that JNUG can break above $20. And again, just like my plan with TEVA, I want to make sure that it's built that cup from this huge downward trend that it's seeing and really starts seeing signs of an upward trend. If we can break above 20, then we have a lot more margin to make up. Therefore, I still think the potential for profit is much greater than the potential for loss if we can break that critical point of $20 for JNUG. Let me go ahead and move on to a following one. A following one is going to be GoPro. GoPro, again, a swing trade that we've been looking at. I can break it down on a 30-day analysis, and it looks like it's been seeing a consistent signs of an upward trend. I can even go to a 180-day analysis and focus on the past 60 days. And with that being said, it's been showing signs of a consistent upward trend. It does have nice little pullbacks, but it's with those pullbacks or with those dip buys that I see the most value in because it truly identifies its support. It starts to consolidate at a certain support and then starts to show signs of an upward trend, just like it's done the previous 2 times from its initial bounce at lows of $7. With that being said, right now it's just riding the line of the resistance at $10. It was not able to break it, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure if it was able to break it during pre-market hours. It looks like it was. It was able to break it. It had a little bit of a pullback, but it was able to break above $10 right now. We did see a little bit of a pullback. We're at $9.95, $9.96, and therefore, this is one of the ones that I did swing trade over the weekend that I bought in at the average price of $9.90. So I'm up very little, if anything. But overall, I just want to make sure that we continue seeing that upward trend because when it comes down to the breakdown of the potential for profit that we offer from $10 to $11, which was the previous support, that's about 10%, but I plan to see this one go up to $13. Let me go ahead and let's see what you guys are saying. XXI and CLNT. Those are more of your momentum trades, as I'm guessing. So CLNT is one that I did see trending within our group chat. So this one was trading before at about 350 and is now hitting highs of 623. So is this something that is going to pull back right as the market opens? Oh, guys, market's right about to open. There we go. So right as the market opens, is this thing something that's going to peak out and then see a pullback, or is this something that it's going to continue to see an upward trend? So the volume is still present, and let's see, all my alerts are going to start kicking in, so please ignore them. There we go. LINU did end up seeing quite a bit of a drop. So CLNT is definitely not a swing trade. This thing has been something that does have pretty solid pumps, but from time to time does end up seeing a downward trend. With that being said, how much is it going to go up? That's definitely the question. So as we can see, when it does have these nice little pumps, they definitely don't hold. I'm just looking at previous resistance, and it looks like there was one at about $7. So there it goes. There's the initial pullback. Boom. And can we get a pullback to the golden VWAP? So around $5. Is that something that we can do, or are we going to get a bounce at the EMA and purple VWAP? It looks like it's trying to hold above 580. It's bouncing, and there it goes. Bounce at 580, if you guys saw that. Bounced at 580 and is now up to 540. That's up almost 10% from the bounce. Ooh. Okay, so great call out on CLNT. I think that this was just a little bit overpriced for where it stands currently. I definitely still think that the volume is there. I just don't see this to be a very long-term trade. So just make sure that if you guys do plan on trading it, that you guys have a good entry, exit, and stop loss. Looks like the overall resistance is going to be right around $7 based on its previous resistance, and that's right around where the red VWAP line is actually hanging around. So with that being said, let's see. Okay. That was a pretty solid bounce. So again, the VWAP indicator being a pretty solid. Let's see. Alrighty. No, it wasn't TEVA that I was looking for. It was, let me go ahead and sign into the TechBets group chat. Boom, 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 boom. Right there, TROV. Okay, so it looks like TROV was one that was being called out during pre-market hours. Looks like it hit somewhat of a resistance at around 105. It came from lows of 80 cents, so I can see why people started calling it out. But based on previous pre-markets, it looks like it usually does all its movement during pre-market hours, and then it sees a downward trend. So I'd only assume that it's most likely going to pull back and then flatline from that point forward. Again, following up, TEVA did have a little bit of a pullback, bounce right on that golden VWAP. Alrighty, so it did end up bouncing at that golden VWAP, and it ended up hitting lows of $15.95. Not much of a drop for what the $16 stock is. Looks like it's now actually pumping up. Oh, there it goes, 616, 614, 612. So we're having a really solid push. All right, I'm actually gonna be taking a position on this. I really like the setup. I'm going to sell GoPro for the day. I don't see this one. I don't see GoPro moving as much today as I do for. All right. I'm gonna wait for a little bit more of a pullback. So made pretty much nothing on GoPro. Made 1%. So hopefully that can cover my commissions. But definitely just not seeing the push that I think I would want to today. Oh, there it goes. It's starting to pick up. Maybe it heard me. So TDVA. I want to follow up with that. So, yeah. What is it? There we go. Hit highs of 680. Still pushing through. Still seeing signs of an upward trend. Just be careful with this, guys, when it does have those pretty solid pullbacks. If it breaks anything below the EMA and starts indicating a downward trend, I mean, that would not be the best indication for a hold. But it definitely looks like it's still pumping. I'd like to follow up with this one, so I think that was a great call out. Let's see if it even breaks above $7. I think that would be a good indicator on when to sell. There we go. Whoa, GoPro with a nice little push. Looks like it's finally gapping up. I like it, I like it. Okay. Might actually hold this one, so now we're up a little bit more than 2% on my position. Moving on 3%. And I know you guys might think it's funny, but if I do anything more than 3% on a swing trade that was one day, I will follow with a stop loss. I think 3% for a swing trade, especially for a one-day swing trade, is more than enough. I'll follow with a stop loss. I'll build that cushion. I'll lock in the profits that I already have. And when there's a little bit of pullback. And when it comes down to just locking in profits, it's something that I try to lead by example by, and it's something that I know that I've made a mistake on before. And it just comes down to the understanding that, sometimes we always try to look for a little bit more profit, and that's fine. But understanding that, consistency is key, and making sure that even when you're up 1, 2, 3, 4%, you're doing something that 90% of the market can't do. And if you could always lock in the profit and minimize the amount of money that you lose, you could always lock it in and buy back in later, but you can't, if you end up not locking in profit, you can't sell at that higher price point again. So that's really just it. So I hope that can somewhat guide in the right direction. Looks like you guys is still seeing a downward trend, and that's definitely not a good sign. It looks like it's hitting lows just like it did during pre-market hours. It ended up hitting lows of 975, and it's just very unfortunate for you guys that it continues seeing this downward trend. The volume is no longer there. Something that I'm waiting for is for the break and hold above $10, that's why it was one of the top stocks for my watch list this week. If it performs the way that we expect it to, and if it doesn't, then we simply won't trade it. Decent pullback on TEVA, that is true. TROV tanked. So I mean, we did call that it was most likely going to see a downward trend. Yep. You guys can see, I mean, based on it, again, I don't know if you guys heard my call out for TROV. That's one of the top stocks that's being talked about within. You guys went last year below and 979. Okay. So TROV, just like last week, ended up having a nice little pump, but then it saw a pullback right at market open. AMD is very infamous for this, meaning that every time that it goes up during pre-market, it sees a downward trend. Oh, dang. CLNT is at 714. That thing was at 580, what was it? At like 585 when we caught it at the bounce. So it's seen a downward trend just like it did, throughout its entire day on Friday. So most likely, based on its previous trend, it's most likely going to do the same thing. At least that's what I can go off of. Other than that, I don't know too much about the company. I can just see that it tends to see most of its pump all during pre-market hours. CLNT, there it goes. It's continuing that upward trend. This thing. Again, $7 is a previous resistance. So if you guys are up right now, be sure to lock it in. or be sure to follow with a stop loss just to make sure that if it sees a sudden, pop down, that you guys at least have the opportunity to lock in all the profit that you guys have already made. Dang, this thing is gapping up. So we caught the balance at, yeah, it was like 580 right here. And it is up. It's up about 22 to 23%. So now hitting 750. There it goes. GoPro is still seeing somewhat of an upward trend based on last week's, on Friday's resistance. It looks like it's approaching the same resistance, which is around 1018. What I think I'm going to do is it looks like it's just pretty much consolidating at that same price point as it was on Friday. And I definitely don't want to hold GoPro just because it looks like there's many more stocks that offer much more opportunity at the current price point. So something that I like to do with this very small position that I took for a swing trade is, okay, like, I'm up a little bit over, right now it's right around the 2% mark. And if I can do anything more than 2%, then great. I was aiming for 3% for a one-day swing. But I'm not going to be greedy for just a couple cents of profit per share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock it in, and then I will see you guys right over. What's my opinion on LODE? LOE, well, it's less than $1, so I don't necessarily trade it. Oh, you guys just had another drop below 976, which is a 52-week low. So looking at this at a 5-day chart, looks like its overall support was at 15 cents before. It has had a nice little pump. When it sees an upward trend, it is not showing any signs of an upward trend at the moment. If anything, it's bouncing off the golden VWAP if it validates that support. But other than that, I don't trade stocks less than $1. And it's not showing any signs of an upward trend, so I don't see why I would even want to invest in it. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Dang. There we go. CLNT making new highs. But yeah, that's really just it, guys. So I hope that this live stream was somewhat helpful. If it is, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. Again, if you guys have any questions about what it is that we talked about today, feel free to reach out to me within the Tech But Solutions group chat. So again, I'm just going to simply, something that I'm going to be trying to do this week is simply following up with the top stocks during pre-market hours for the scan, so something like CLNT. I think that's something that a lot of our momentum traders like to focus on, and there's no question, focusing on 100% runners, as in CLNT. There's no question that those are very, profitable, as well as, wow, this thing's about to break $8. I don't know if you guys could see it. But there's no question that these stocks are very profitable, as well as they are a form. There is a form of risk. Therefore, that is why I'm going to be focusing on, especially for our new traders, a little bit more on a couple of swing trades that I see value in, that I think could be a couple good long-term holds if they start indicating signs of an upward trend. So I'm simply going to be following up with the stocks that I called out for my top stocks for week 2. I'm going to try to keep it very structured and making sure that we keep you guys up to date on the progress on how they're performing, if they are actually validating the support and the trend that we predicted, and if not, then we can go ahead and move on from there. But overall, just like we try to encourage you guys to do, is you should never be investing based on other people's opinion. You should never invest based on something that you don't understand. And even if you see an opportunity like CLNT is up 131%, which is amazing. But if you're new to trading and you don't really know how to understand the mechanics, let's say you would have taken a position right now because it was up 135%. And you don't know how to stop loss out, and you don't know how to lock in profits, and you don't know the importance or the whole mechanics of trading, because you bought nearly at the resistance at $8 at the $8 price point. You would have been down 40 cents per share right now, and for a $70 stock, a $7 stock, you're down nearly almost 10%. With that being said, just make sure that you understand what it is that you're investing in. Before you get into momentum trading, you might want to learn how to walk. So therefore, being able to identify good quality stocks. I just don't want you guys to have to lose any money that, you definitely don't have to. It's something that I've talked about before. and I'd hate for you to make any mistakes that will, discourage you from ever investing in the stock market altogether. One of the best things that I would recommend is to start simulation trading, which means fake money. Therefore, there's no monetary risk, and you gain all the real-world experience that you can use all the tools that we use. Other than that, thank you guys again for everything that you guys do. Continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives in your success. For all those that signed up for our lesson library, we did receive all your emails and all your messages, and I will be reaching out to you after 10 a.m. today. So right now it's 6:44 a.m. Here in Arizona. So after 10 a.m. today, be on the lookout for your emails. I will be sending you the welcome document and the details for all those that got accepted to the mentorship program by myself. Be sure, if you haven't signed up for the lesson library, it's going to be the first link in this description to use if you're part of TechBuds, to use the TechBuds 50. That's TechBuds with an S. TechBuds 50, and you'll get a $50 discount off your promo code, as well as the first, I think it's first 500 people that sign up. We'll be offering an affiliate code. Therefore, you guys get $50 for every person that you refer as well. So thank you again for everything it is that you guys do. If you guys haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The second link in the description will guide you over to our TechBud Solutions website. And feel free to join our free networking group. We have a little bit over 48,000 members worldwide. And the thing that we do best is we provide a free and simple platform for both new and experienced traders. The lesson library is a little bit more for those that simply want to seek mentorship from me. And I'm going to be dedicating a little bit more one-to-one time with this specific group. But overall, we have an amazing community that we'd love for you to take part of if you see value in it. Altogether, it looks like CLNT is actually peaking out, and if you guys can see, it's starting to really build that peak and almost starting to show signs of a downward trend. So once it breaks below $7 and breaks below this EMA and this purple VWAP, then that's when I would really see this thing to start seeing a downward trend. So TEVA also saw a nice little pump down. GoPro is still trying to hold at around 1010. UGAS still dropping like a stone, and LINU just broke below $2. It's definitely not a good sign. JNUG is still consolidating at the $20 resistance, so not much movement there. And there was one more that I wanted to follow up with, and that was SQNS. Very quickly, we called out the resistance, the critical breakout at $2. I have my alert set. I'll follow up with you guys on when it ends up breaking, if it does. If it doesn't, then we simply won't trade it. But the reason that we find this one to be so profitable is due to, one of the callouts is actually by Rank Gaming. He messaged me yesterday, so I do want to give him a shout out for that. And that's because of this huge gap that it has. So if we can break above $2, we can see a nice little technical breakout, just like we saw last week on my callout for GNCA when it went from $150 to $2. And now it's just consolidating at 169, so not too interested in that anymore. Now with AMD, I don't know where that went, but looks like that thing just broke above 1350. So, alrighty. So I'll answer a couple of your questions right now, guys. Feel free to just give me one quick second. Feel free to join me over to the TechBud Solutions Discord group chat. Join me in the voice channels, and I'll be there with the team, just talking about the different stocks that we're trading. Like always, guys, let's make sure that we're in the year on a green note. Take care.